cryptocurrencies right now, but good lord, what does all of it mean? So welcome to the one video that will take you from crypto noob to crypto genius. I'm gonna tell you what it is, why it keeps becoming more important, what I've actually invested in myself, and the dark side of it. Okay, so when society was in its early stages, there was no such thing as money. We'll call this stage 1. The only way to buy something off someone was to go up to them and be like, "Oh, I really like your horse. I'll trade you my cat for it." Sorry, Milo, I never trade you. But the issue with a system like that is that even though you might be perfectly happy to give up your horse, you just might not want a cat. So that trade will never happen. But that's where currency came in, stage 2 coins, which, because they were made of precious materials like gold and silver, everyone just accepted that they were worth something. You've heard of the British pound, right? Well, the reason they're called pounds is because 1 pound literally just used to be 1 pound of silver, and so all of a sudden, in a trade, it doesn't matter if you don't want my cat, as long as I have coins, we can still trade for your horse, even if you have no use at all for the silver, because it's a precious material, you have that reassurance that you can take that coin, give it to someone else, and trade for something that you do want, convenient, right? But then this evolved to stage 3. As banks became established and governments had control, we realized that as long as there was trust in the system, we could move away from needing to carry blocks of precious metal towards something even more convenient, paper money. It does the same thing, but now the money doesn't have value because it's made of pure silver. It just has value because the government says it has value, like this 10-pound note here in the UK. The note itself is just made of, well, it's actually made of plastic. They changed it recently because it's more durable. But if you look closely, you can see that all this actually is the Bank of England promising that they will pay the bearer of this note 10 pounds. Really, this is just a receipt, a kind of proof that you own a certain amount of money. But as technology has improved even further, we found even more convenient ways of storing and trading our stuff. We're now in what I would call stage 4, where more people than ever are buying things online and using credit cards, and really, when you're at that stage, we don't see our money anymore. It's not about coins or notes or cats, it's just entries on a spreadsheet, like when I buy a music album from Amazon. All that's happening is that my bank adds an entry in my spreadsheet that says Aaron now has $10 less, and then Amazon's bank adds an entry that says they have $10 more. So the reason I've given you this entire intro is to give you context on where cryptocurrency sits. It's seen by many people as the most convenient era of exchange ever, stage 5. The way to think about a cryptocurrency is that it's 100% virtual. I know the logo for Bitcoin kind of looks like a physical coin. It really is a Bitcoin now. But with crypto, there is no gold, there is no silver, there is no paper. It really is just the transfer of digital assets. The core concept is exactly the same. Think of them as literally just running spreadsheets of who's paid what to who. But instead of multiple banks keeping their own separate records with crypto, there is just one enormous spreadsheet of every transaction made using that currency, and this is called a ledger. Okay, we all have a good spreadsheet, but what's all the fuss about? Why is everyone going crypto crazy? Well, there are some distinct advantages to a currency system like this one. It's decentralized, which means that while every transaction of a given cryptocurrency is all recorded on the same ledger, there are many, many copies of that ledger, and anyone who is a part of the network has one. You might have heard of cryptocurrency mining or Bitcoin mining. Well, all that is someone who set up a computer to crunch through transactions on their copy of this ledger pool spreadsheet. There are already about 1 million Bitcoin miners around the world, and Bitcoin is just one type of cryptocurrency. The reason they're doing it, well, if you dedicate your computer's power to mining, say Bitcoin, then you will earn some Bitcoin as compensation. So the result of this is that if I go into a store and spend 5 Bitcoins on something, then instead of just checking with one bank's records, the shop instead checks with every single computer on this network. If I have enough, and assuming I do, each computer will give the go-ahead, and then every single one will update their records independently. So because you end up having this many copies of exactly the same ledger, it becomes very easy to tell if anyone's trying anything fishy. Did you? So, who actually bought this? Let's break down what happens if I try to hack someone's computer that's on the network and manipulate their copy of the crypto ledger. Well, it wouldn't work. The system would instantly recognize that 99.9% of the ledger copies are consistent, and my altered copy is the odd one out. That's the beauty of blockchain. It's organized and secure, and many people believe in it because of the transparent, traceable transactions it offers. For some, this system actually feels simpler. In regions with internet access but limited banking services, crypto opens new financial opportunities. Unlike traditional banks, crypto doesn't require paperwork or documentation, just internet access. Plus, transactions are fast, often instant, with low fees, no exchange rate worries, and no spending limits. The magic behind cryptocurrencies is cryptography. Bitcoin and other major cryptocurrencies rely on blockchain technology, a secure way of recording transactions. Imagine a giant spreadsheet everyone has a copy of. Each transaction is recorded as a block containing details like the sender, receiver, amount, and a unique identifier called a hash. Each block also references the previous block's hash, creating a chain of interconnected data. Now here's the cool part. If someone tries to alter a transaction, that block's hash changes, breaking the chain for every subsequent block. Combine that with thousands of users verifying transactions on their own blockchain copies, and you'd have to alter not just one ledger, but at least 500,000 other computers to pull off a successful hack. That's why crypto fraud at scale is nearly impossible. Now let's talk investment. People buy cryptocurrencies hoping they'll increase in value, so they can either spend them or cash out for profit. This to-the-moon mentality can lead to massive price swings. Bitcoin is just one of over 4,000 cryptos out there. Ethereum, for instance, is faster. Cardano is praised for its technology. Litecoin uses a newer algorithm, and Polygon offers scalability benefits. Personally, I've invested 40% in Ethereum, 20% in Polygon, 20% in Cardano, 10% in Cortez, and 10% in Litecoin. My portfolio has been a roller coaster, up, down, and everything in between. Crypto's volatility is one of its biggest drawbacks. Since their value is largely speculative, crypto prices react heavily to news cycles. One positive article, prices soar. One tweet from Elon Musk, prices tank. Another issue is acceptance. While some companies like Microsoft and Burger King have dabbled in accepting Bitcoin, they've often reversed course. Adoption is still inconsistent. Environmental concerns are another downside. Crypto security relies on thousands of computers constantly verifying transactions, and that requires substantial electricity. Critics argue this is inefficient. However, newer coins are improving efficiency, and renewable energy sources could eventually offset this concern. Finally, there's the perception that crypto is the perfect tool for criminals. But statistics show that only 0.34% of crypto transactions are tied to illegal activities, compared to 5% of cash transactions. Crypto is pseudonymous, not anonymous. Every transaction is recorded with a public key identifier, making it traceable, unlike cash. Now, for something unusual, NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. NFTs are digital assets that you can own via blockchain verification. But unlike buying copyright rights, NFTs simply claim ownership of a digital item, often just a JPEG. While that sounds strange, NFT value is tied to the idea of exclusivity, like owning an original painting in a gallery. So whether you're a crypto enthusiast or a skeptic, the industry is evolving rapidly. Just remember, crypto investing can be rewarding, but it's also risky. And most importantly, this isn't financial advice. The only guaranteed investment win? A stylish hat. Best purchase I ever made.